Hello, welcome to Bitley's Backwards Bushcraft, and this is Richard. So since we have moved 90 to 98%, I'd say probably about 98% of everything that we own now into a storage unit, the the garage, this part of the garage is pretty much back the way it was before we got here. We have very little in here now. So Michelle set up a table for her to do crafts out here, and that's where I'm sitting today. So right now I have a bunch of just sticks. That's all I have, just sticks. So what I'm going to do is, with those sticks and with this cordage, I am going to build a very small wooden trap. It's going to be, I think it's called an Arapuka Bird Trap. And basically all I'm going to do is form a box with sticks and then just build it up into like a pyramid and tie it off with cordage. It's just going to be very light and very small. I don't want to catch anything big. What I'm really looking to get is a finch sized bird. So let's readjust the camera and let's get started on that. Over here, and I have plenty of other sticks if need be. Let's see here. I really want to kind of make it about that size. There we go. That's about the size that I want it. And all I'm going to do is take a little bit of cordage. Let me pull out a knife here. This little Milwaukee knife, I love this thing. So I'm just going to pull off some cordage. And all I'm going to do is just tie these into this box, and very simple. I'll show you the first one. So I'll just go under here, and I'm going to use my favorite tie. So I'm going to make a loop underneath these sticks. I'm going to take the tag in, roll it back up on itself, and make another loop right here, and I'm just going to roll that in 2-3 times and then pull that tight. And that makes a nice little movable noose, and just tighten that up. That's really all it's going to work. Then I will just roll it 1, 2, 3 times this direction, and then 1, 2, 3 times this direction, and then I'm just going to tie it off. Just like so. There we go. Put a little knot in there so that it doesn't go anywhere. Let's do that twice just for GP. Cut that off. And there we have an attached piece. I'm going to do that until I create my box, and I'll get right back with you. And here we go with the last one on the first level of it. Now this is, these sticks are honeysuckle, one of my favorite kinds of sticks to use. So really, I got the loop wrapped on it, so I'll wrap it. I'll do 3 wraps here, 2, 3 wraps here. Then I'll roll it to the other side. I'll do 3 wraps here, 1, 2, 3 wraps here, and then once I get that done, I'll do some fraps. Fraps are going to go in between the 2 sticks this way. So what I'll do is I'll pull it up and make a loop like this, and I'll lay that down and go back through and under there, and then I'll tighten it up just like that. There we go. And then I'll do that again on this side. There. And then I'll just do another to this direction, to this direction. There we go. And I still got a little bit of cordage left, so I might as well use it. And I'll roll it around and do another frap like this. And then I'll just sit here and just make a little knot. 1, 2, tie. Another one. 1, 2, and tie. And then from there I'll make another knot just to tie that off. One more just for GP. There we go. And then just cut that. Violet's going crazy, which means the squirrel is back at the bird feeder. Alright, so there we have the very first layer, and all I'm going to do is just stack on top of that and continue to tie, and we'll work on that, and I'll get back with you guys when I get it built a little bit more. And I may have to cut some more. There it is. I have some more wood over there that I need to, because I'm pretty sure I'm going to need more than just this. So I'll get right back with you. So there's many ways that you can build one of these traps. You can build it all together with one big piece of cordage. That's not how I'm doing this one. I'm doing this one where I'm building individual squares, and then I'm going to stack them like so, and then I'm going to tie them together. This way I can keep them together and be able to use them over several different attempts. And the other way, once you unravel them, they just all fall apart and it's just one big huge pile of sticks. At least this way I get to keep them in the squares. So I'm going to probably have to build another, I don't know, however it takes to get a pyramid. But when I get that done, I'll get right back with you guys. So we are over here in another area, and I have some more honeysuckle, and I need some more. So I'm going to cut them about 13 inches. It doesn't have to be perfect, just has to be close. Here we have 1, 2, and 3, and we'll just continue by stacking more. We'll bring them in a little bit, just like so, and we'll continue, and each time we'll start bringing them in just a little bit, like so. We're gonna build like a little log cabin. It's basically what we're doing. Just building a little log cabin. See how far we can. There we go. Starting to work it. Yeah, I'm gonna have to cut again. There we go. There it is. There. You can see how it's starting to build up. And I could possibly. I think that'll be big enough, and then I can just strap these along top, or I could make another level to it. I think I'll make one more level. So I'm gonna have to cut the other stick that I have. All right, these last few are around 11 inches. And I'll start bringing him in each time. Just like, there we go. So, woo, there. And here, and then, yeah, there we go. I'll probably have to come down. And then I'll start building with the real small ones. So that'll work. Now, I could take a large piece of cordage and wrap this all together so that it's one tight piece, and then when I undo it, it all comes apart. But I don't want to do that. I want to keep it individual squares so that when I undo it, becomes individual squares so that I can piece it back together later if I want to, or I can use it for something else. If I do it the original way I learned how to do it, once you take it apart, they're just all individual pieces and they just fall everywhere. So at least this way they stay together a little better. We're getting there. Looks like, you see, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I've got one more over there to do, so that would make 7. And I might want to do one more just to make it even. So I'm thinking I might have 8 of these to create this, and once I get this done, I'll get right back with you. So let's continue to build this this bird trap. So again, we're just gonna wrap this direction, we're gonna wrap this direction, get a few wraps either direction. And then we'll do a couple fraps each direction. So here's the top. I just lashed them together with a couple lashings and there you go. Simple. Then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And this makes 8. Now all I have to do is just kind of intertwine a little bit of string to put this all together, and then this trap will be almost done. There's a lot of space in here that a small bird like I'm trying to attempt to catch could slip through. So we'll see about dealing with that a little bit later, but right now I'm just going to attach all these together, and when I get that done, I'll get right back with you. So I just make a notch, or I'm sorry, a loop down here, and I'm going to attach it to the bottom one. I don't want this to be permanent. This isn't something that I want to have on completely all the time. I can take this off and separate it. So I'm just going to weave in and out of each one of these. Just, there we go, just randomly weave in and out of these so that I attach them. There we go. Let's see if this one, yeah, this one's going to need a little bit of, there we go, we'll go up through here. And then this very top one, let's move this out of the way. Just like so. And that's all I'm going to do to hold these together, because I don't need them to be very strong. This doesn't have to be strong, because I'm just going to wrap it up here. I'm just going to be trapping very small finch or canary type birds, so it doesn't have to be something that's going to create a lot of strength. And right there will work, and we'll just tie this off. Couple fraps, frap like movements there, and then we'll just put a little knot right up there, and we'll just cut that off. So I'm going to do that on these other two sides, and that will secure it enough to where I am able to keep it together. But when I take those off, this whole thing will break down so that it'll store easier. And so I don't have to deal with just individual sticks. I'll have them in the squares, so that way I can not worry about just having individual sticks laying around. Now I've made these, like I said before, when I take it apart, they're individual sticks, and that can kind of be a little bit of a hassle, and I don't want that hassle with this one. So what I'm doing is just, there we go. Yeah, let's go with 3. I like 3. 3 is a good number. Right like that. And then put a little knot right on that. Two is 1, 1 is none. So there's 2 knots. Cut that off. And then I should be able to lift it up. Look at that. And it stays all together. Now what I need to do is grab one of, there's my top, just sits on there just like so. Try to find me a piece of cordage, here we go, that's kind of ones that I cut off. Find a couple. And we'll just attach very simply here without causing too much trouble. Couple little knots, just very simple ones in this here to attach the top onto it. Very simple, easy knot. Let's turn this around, find 2 more. Most of these are, there we go, that looks like a good one. Let's pull this out here. Bingo bango. And one more. This looks like it might work. Bingo. There we go. So the top's on. This whole thing is together, yet individual. And then this is how it's going to set up. Let's see here. We'll find a nice level way of it sitting. Let's see here. Right there. Alright, it'll sit up just like this with the trigger. And we'll work on that here in a little bit and I'll show you the trigger. But what will happen is, let's see here. We will just pretend that this is the trigger, but it's not. So anyway, the way the trigger works is this will hold up the trap, and the birds will come in, and there'll be a stick back here. And what will happen, and I don't have a Y, but a Y notch will sit up here and hold this, and then this will sit similar to this. And what will happen is when this one is hit like that, the trap will fall down onto the bird. It's not going to hurt it, and it will keep it alive. And if it's too big or if it's too small and it fits through these holes, then I'll fix it. I don't think that it will get out necessarily. I'm not going to let it sit a long time, but if I have to, I can kind of maybe stuff sticks around in here. We'll see. But anyway, this right here is the trap. So let's get this started and let's get the trigger going. So I found what I needed for my trigger system. This is exactly what I wanted, was something that looked like this, but it's too short So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to attach another stick to it with a piece of this green wire, just by wrapping it. And I'm going to make it as long as I need it. Now, if I wanted to go out and look for another stick, eventually I'd find exactly what I needed. But in this case, I'm going to make what I need out of what I've got. Now, this is my favorite setup for one of these, and I've been calling it an Arapuka, and I guess it's actually called an Arapuka. Anyway, what I'm going to do is, where's my stick? There it is. All right, what I need is 1, 2, 3, 4 small sticks. One of them needs to have a V type on top of it. What I'm going to do is set that just like this onto the trap, and I am going to see, I think this one, I'm just going to set this stick on the back end of it like this, and see how it bends in. That's where these 2 sticks come in. On the very, very back, I'm going to set that. And one of the reasons I like this trigger is because it's super, super sensitive. And, ooh, that's not, there we go, hold on. Use the smaller stick here, there we go. Just like that. And then this stick here needs to be broke off just a tad bit. Oh, that's perfect. Whoop. And woo, I got it set up first time. That doesn't always happen. This is a very, very tricky trigger. I mean, it's very sensitive. So let's take a closer look at this and let me explain it to you. So like I said before, I have this notch holding it up, and oh, it's moving. Wow, did you see that? I'm not even touching it. Very, very sensitive trigger. Anyway, this little notch is holding that up, but it's going to be pushing in, and I'm using this stick to hit the ground, and it's going to be pushing in, so that's where this stick and this stick, which are attached to the back ends, and what will happen is the birds will come in and they'll be feeding on the ground and everything. If I have a stick longer, I want it to really come down to here so that I can set these sticks even lower. So I'm going to probably have to readjust, but for now, what's going to happen is they'll come in, and when they come up and hit one of these, closes right on them. So there we go. I'd like to set this camera inside the trap and have it go off, but there's not enough room in there. What I do want to do is find a stick that's longer so that it goes closer to the ground. So I'm going to have to adjust that. But as far as that goes, here is my favorite trigger for these traps. Very, very sensitive. And this supports from the ground to the trigger stick. And the trigger stick without these 2 here would just flip in and drop. It won't stay up by itself. And that's where you set these sticks here onto the very tip, and what happens is the bird comes in, bam. Right, so let's I extended that. All I did is I took the wire off and I made the stick, I pulled the stick down so that it's longer, and all I'm going to do is stick the fork part right onto that, and then see, there we got that stick. So the supporting stick will just sit back here, and if you see, that supporting stick is still just will cause that to flip in and fall. So I'm going to hold that. I'm going to take one trigger, set it in the very back, and let it rest right onto the very bottom, and it's still not going to hold unless I have another one right there. So there we go. There's the trap, there's the set. So what happens is the birds will come in and feed, and then they'll hit one of these triggers and down it goes. That is my favorite trigger for these kind of traps. So now all we got to do is set it up when the finches and canaries, or I guess they're finches, when the finches come back to feed, I got to get rid of that squirrel because that squirrel keeps eating all the food. So we're going to deal with his little butt. And then we'll get some finches, and hopefully we'll catch at least one of those really beautiful yellow finches, and then we'll make use of that bird cage, that bird prison I've got over there.